Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Lextran Board of Directors meeting for November. Lead us through our meeting is our board chair, Mr. Harding Dowell.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We will call the meeting to order, and we will call the roll. Ms. Rogers is absent, and Mr. Houston are absent. Mr. Ward?
Present.
Judge Thurston?
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. Ms. Borges-Gonzalez?
I'm present.
Thank you. We are lacking a quorum for today, so we will skip the approval of the minutes. I do not have a chair's report.
Public comment.
Oh, sorry, public comment. Is there anyone for public comment?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll move forward. Sorry, I don't know why I always skip that one. So as I said, we can't approve the minutes. I do not have a chair's report. We'll move to the general manager's update on the transit center renovation.
So things are still moving along nicely. We've done a lot of work on the exterior on the platform. The two lingering questions, one is the finishing of the bodega, and I think at this point we are going to do the HVAC and the flooring, not completely finish the bodega. We got a cost back on that we thought was a little bit too high, but the space will be available for use. It won't be completely finished. And then the plumbing is an issue as well. We hope to get those two things resolved. Other than that, I think we're on track.
Should we expect to see a change order report next month for either or both of those things?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the operation plan for the bodega?
Right now, we look to have a sort of a carousel of different service providers that can come down and table and interact with the folks who are there. We've talked to a couple of agencies. We hope to have a more formal plan for that coming soon. So this won't be the leased space that we talked about before, black soil, because we're not able to finish the space completely at this time.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to the monthly performance report.
Good morning. So we are going to review the performance report for October. And we will start with the mission. We serve people and our community with mobility solutions. So in the highlights for October, we held two community stakeholder engagement sessions. That is the bottom photo. One was in person and one was held virtually, and those were really helpful to sort of get some information from the community. Lots of varied different folks, and so we'll see some of that stuff as we move forward with the strategic plan.
Emily, were those sessions an invited group, or was it a sort of open call?
There was an invited group.
Mm-hmm.
I think we invited, I'm going to lie, so I'm not going to give you a solid number, a lot of people. So different stakeholders, so whether it was like a human services, whether it was government, business, lots of different folks, invited them to come in the room and just provide some feedback about sort of the high level things going on with the organization.
Okay.
Fred presented the microtransit feasibility study to council on the 21st. And then we had our successful submission of the National Transit Data. I'm struggling this morning. The National Transit Database reporting and our triennial automatic passenger counter recertifications. And that's a heavy lift for a large amount of the administrative staff. And so we're always really proud to get that out and submitted. We started the first session of the Transit Advocacy Academy in cooperation with Living Streets Lexington and Fayette Alliance. We've since had the second session as well, and that is the top photo there. And so folks applied to come to that. I believe there are just under 30 participants, and learning all about transportation, transit, how to advocate, lots of different things. So there's a small focus on Lextran specifically, but also just a larger focus on public transportation. And then we had an agency-wide training on professionalism, customer service, and de-escalation, and we're able to get more than 200 members of the staff trained last month. So it was a little bit busy. Moving on to ridership. So you can see the green line there is indicating the ridership over the last year. It is continuing on trend from what it has been. So we did have a productive meeting with our partners at Avail, and we're continuing to work with them, expecting some resolution and understanding a bit more about what the information is telling us in the near future. If we look at on-time performance, It did lag a little bit. Also continuing on trend, in the busiest months of the year, we do see it drop some. We've been taking some proactive approaches with some of the scheduling and looking at the routes specifically that are not as resilient as the others as far as on-time performance goes, and making changes. So we are having some changes to routes. Route 2, which is Georgetown Road, that's related to service to Kearney Ridge. Route 17, which is the North Side Connector, and then Route 15, which is our Red Mile route. That serves Angliana, Red Mile, First Hills Road, and Limestone. And those will be coming in in December. We have public comment open now as well. So we're continuing to monitor the on-time performance, better understand what's happening. We do expect that we'll see it shift back up as it typically does. Just trying to understand more about how the city's growing and changing and where some of those changes are impacting the service, and then being proactive and responsive to them both. So as far as safety is concerned, we had 3 preventable accidents for the month. As you can see, year to date, those have come down significantly. Kudos to Steve and the team on that. And as far as maintenance is concerned, again, 100% on the preventive maintenance inspections. We had a few extra road calls in the last month that brings that number down just a little bit, but still doing really well. Do you all have any questions?
Judge Thurston has a
Yes,
question.
Judge Thurston.
I do. I'm sorry. It's my first day using Zoom. Apparently, I couldn't find the mute button. On the OPC, how is the Leestown road debacle affect at all?
A lot of the traffic related to Leestown Road is entering and exiting from New Circle. So while there are delays and closures, after the changes that we made last year, it's been a pretty resilient route with on-time performance. So going up and down Leestown Road has not been as disrupted during peak hours as you might imagine. As far as people getting on and off New Circle, they are significantly more disrupted with the recent closures and changes that have been made. So what tends to happen in those situations is we see things like Georgetown struggle and Old Frankfort Pike, and those other arterials that have to take on the traffic that typically would come onto Leestown Road. But it's actually been a dream getting in and out of downtown on Leestown for the last several weeks because there's not nearly as much traffic moving through the area. We do anticipate that there will be more closures, more disruptions, but kudos to Jason and his team. They're staying on top of it. Randolph with paratransit also staying on top of it, and so it's been pretty resilient as far as that's concerned. We haven't had a significant issue with it.
What do you see now?
Thank you. And then I had one last question in regards to injury frequency rate.
Let me go back.
That seems, I guess it's higher for this month, it looks like.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. We've had a few minor accidents that personal injuries, nothing super major, but it still is a frequency rate increase.
Were you able to hear that? No.
I couldn't, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Can you repeat that, Steve? Just really loud.
Yeah, we've had high frequency this month. We've had several injuries, but they're fairly minor. But yeah, it has increased our frequency. We've actually been fairly low considering overall. But this has been a busier month, I guess.
Emily, what do you
Thank
see?
you.
What are you seeing on Newtown Pike?
As far as traffic or
On time
disruptions
and
on
traffic.
time, we also made some changes to Newtown. It has also become more resilient since we made those changes as far as on-time performance is concerned. We've had some folks mentioning that the schedule is not great for them, so we're trying to get more information about, especially in the area where we made the largest change out to Stanton Way. Trying to get some more information from them. They're mostly communicating directly with operators, which makes it difficult to sort of get back and forth, but trying to understand what times at least they're coming and going. And so to be responsive in that way, to say, okay, this didn't work for them, how can we look at it again? But it has also become more resilient as far as on-time performance is concerned, even with the traffic that's on Newtown Pike. A lot of the waiting is outside of Citation.
The outbound between New Circle Road and Citation it just starts earlier and earlier, backing up that whole way. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But do you think that's coming off of Leestown and some of them?
And Leestown has bled out in a lot of ways. The traffic at Citation and Newstown between that and the highway has been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
It continues to
That's
get
always-
worse. Yeah. But you know, I think we're hopeful that with the construction on the highway resolving, that might change things. I can't guarantee that. That the way that arterial connects to and from campus and to and from downtown makes it important and, you know, the best route for a lot of people. So we're trying to be responsive and understand how those changes impact the way that the routes go and how it impacts folks' travel patterns and that sort of thing, to just stay more on top of it, so that it doesn't become a problematic route again, and then sort of be more proactive in preventing them from becoming the problematic on-time performance route as we move forward. But as these things change and as the city grows, we sort of see these pinch points that were manageable at one point and then become unmanageable.
How does the agency find out about upcoming road projects so that we can be proactive? Is it the transportation cabinet? Is it the MPO? Yes.
Yes.
And-
Yes. There are a number of ways, but yes, staying in touch with the transportation cabinet, the MPO. If you consider the sewer work that's been going on for several years now, that is an ongoing project. We work to maintain as many relationships as we can. If we see something pop up, the transportation supervisors are immediately out there trying to talk to the crew. Many times they are not the people in charge of they're executing a plan. They are not in charge of the closure itself. But just sort of this ever revolving door of information sharing and staying on top of it and understanding. The construction at the corner of New Circle and Limestone was anticipated to be a week and has gone on for significantly longer than that. And they've been really responsive and saying, hey, we're not done yet. Oh, this closure is changing in this way and that way. So it's just it's a revolving door of sharing information and requesting information. And sometimes it's good and easy, and many times it's much more complicated than that.
Sure. Any other questions? We'll move to paratransit. Thank you.
Right. The paratransit side. The paratransit ridership for the month of October was 16,219. This is the highest ridership this fiscal year. When compared to the previous month, it was an increase by slightly over 1,000 riders. As we go into the productivity, the overall ridership reflects an increase on the weekday and the weekend ridership, up by slightly over 4,000 riders on the weekday, up by 2,000 plus riders on the weekend. The total revenue miles continue to be slightly higher this fiscal year, and the revenue hours is slightly below. RTPDev have been heavily focused on optimizing services as we continue to add new vehicles into the fleet. The trips per mile is 0.17, which is in line with the previous fiscal year, and the trips per hour is also in line, coming in at 2.29 this month. We move to the safety side. The preventable accidents for the month of October was 2. We are pretty much in the same place as we were last fiscal year. The preventable accidents per 100,000 miles is 1.64, which is slightly below previous fiscal year. All right, OTP. OTP is trending in the wrong direction. Just call it exactly how I see it. It is trending in the wrong direction, and it has been trending downward since June 2025. As you see, the highest we reached was in the 85 percentile. Overall, OTP has been trending down for several reasons. One, you have a traffic concern that we have in Lexington, but the second is RTP Dev is facing manpower challenges. They have been faced with manpower challenges for the last 2 months, and they continue to actively recruit and host weekly new hire training classes. They anticipate being fully staffed by December. However, Lextran, we believe that they will not be fully staffed until the beginning of the year, considering the holidays coming up and different things like that. In the middle of that, we've seen the highest ridership in the last 90 days overall, and October is proof to show yet again, even with a large amount of cancellations, we would have possibly been in the range of even transporting 18,000 riders for the month of October. Overall, the ridership, the OTP is pretty much in line with the previous fiscal year. As you can see from the green line, the audited OTP from November 2024 is in that 70 to 80% range. And next month, we anticipate the OTP to fall somewhat in the same range as it is for the month of October. But as the holiday months approach us, we should be trending in the right direction by mid-February to March. In addition to recruiting, Fred and I have both been working with our RTP Dev corporate team bi-weekly, and now moving to a weekly meeting to further discuss service improvements. And we also look forward to adding 14 new paratransit vehicles to the fleet. Those 14 new vehicles have a capacity of 4 wheelchair spaces, which would be great for optimizing service. And then also, we will be working on the scheduling, the new run picks soon to optimize those services as we add in the new vehicles. Any questions on the paratransit side? Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Randolph.
Good morning.
Morning, Nikki.
We are looking at the financials for 4 months of the fiscal year through October. We are at a good place right now. We are a little higher than we were this time last year with our operating cash. You'll see a difference on that for next month because this week we received our large property tax that we receive once a year. The biggest check, of course, is in November. But everything else on the balance sheet is pretty similar to last year, but I'll be glad to answer any questions about the balance sheet. Okay, moving on to the statement of revenue and expenses. As I mentioned, property tax is very, very similar to what we had this time last year. Next month you will see the increase for the month of November. Passenger revenue is right about where we budgeted, a little bit less than last year. Federal funds, of course, is still the timing. No issues there, it's just timing, and we should hopefully have that all of that caught up by the spring. Our other revenue, thankfully in November, I forgot which month it was. In November, we got the UK contract signed, so we have been able to bill UK. So you will see in November, you should see that revenue start showing up. That'll be right at $1 million. Our expenses, I'm very, very proud of our expenses for this month. Our wages and fringe are right where they should be. We're still under budget by a little bit. Our professional services are right where they should be. Materials and supplies, that we're watching very closely. The bus parts, as you know, keep going up, so we're watching that very closely. Chris and I talk very often about that and what kind of prices they're looking at. You know, things that cost $300 6 months ago are costing $800 now. So we're keeping an eye on that. Diesel fuel is running right at $2.37 a gallon. This time last year, or our average for the year is $2.51. Our average this time last year was $2.41, so a little bit of difference, but for the month of October it was $2.37, and it's running that for November also. And our CNG is exactly where it was last month at $1.67. So I'm very pleased with the expenses right now. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
On the state funds, is that budgeted in a different month?
Yes, we usually receive those close to the end of the year. These were funds from last year that we received in this for reimbursement that was not part of, it was for vehicles, it was not part of the accounts receivable. Any other questions?
Thank you, Nikki.
All right, as I noted, we are lacking a quorum for today, so we will not be able to take action on the action items. I didn't look, is there a change order report?
Change order report.
Okay, is there any old or new business?
Nope.
Proposed agenda items, I think, are the things that we didn't talk about today.
Correct.
Excellent, seeing no need for closed session, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.